Hello guys. Okay, so welcome to yet another tutorial. So in this video we'll be looking at for loop. So we're looking at loops in general. So we'll look at the for loop, we'll look at the while loop, we'll look at the do while loop. So I'll just create a new file and just an empty file. So I'll just save as loops loops.c. So let me include my header file. So like I said, we'll be looking at loops, and in loops we have the for loop, the while loop, the do while loop, right? So loops will help us to control the flow of our program. It will help us to automate repeated tasks. So, and also in this program we'll learn how to use we'll learn how to select the right loop for a given problem, right? So basically these are the things that we're going to be looking at. So I'll do int main. So we'll start with the for loop. So I'll look at the syntax of the for loop, and then we'll look at how to use it. So for the for loop, you have for, there is an initial value, so we'll have initial value, semicolon, we have the condition that must be fulfilled before whatever block of code that is there in the loop be executed. So now basically this is where you're going to code. So we start with the initial statement. From the initial statement we'll go to the condition, then we have the increment. So for example, so I'll just do a simple example. So I'll do for integer I equals to 0. But I can see it initialize my int out of this, right? Integer I would have still done like int I here, right? But it's okay. And I think most cases you see people use it like this. Then I less than or equals to 5, that's my condition. Then I plus plus, that's the increment. So each time that the loop runs, we're going to be incrementing the value of I. So I'll just put here the value of I is %d \n, comma I. So if I run this, right, so it's just going to print the value for integer I less than or the space between my less than or equals to. So programming also, you have to be careful. So it prints up to 5. Now look at something. If I put strictly less than, right, so it's going to print up to 4, right? Now I can also ask the user to enter a number. So I can do like print f, and I said enter a number, right, \n, and I do scanf, then %d &num, right? So I'm going to initialize num here, int num. Now I can say for I less than or equals to, for I less than or equals to num, right? So the person now has can enter any number, right? So enter a number, so I enter 10, so it prints like that, right? Basically this is how we can automate some repetitions, right? So I can use this to generate a multiplication table for a certain number. So whatever number that the person enters, I can just generate the multiplication table for that number. For example, if I want to do the same here, like let's say we are doing the multiplication table, so I will do printf. I will do something like this, percent %d star %d is equals to %d backslash n. Then now I'll put num, right, I, so I'll be incrementing. Then I'll put num star I, right. So then now I'm going to start I to, I'll start I at 1, then I will be less than or equals to 12, right? So yeah, I think that is good. Let me do this. So this will be like num times I is equals to num times I. Yes. So let's run and see. So I need to generate the multiplication table of 6, right? So 1 times 6 times 1 is 6 and up to 12, right? As simple as that. Okay, so we're going to go to the next type, which is the while loop. So we have the while loop, right? So we have the while loop. So similarly, I'm going to give the syntax of the while loop. So you have while, then now in the here we have the condition, then we have the code here. The code is here, and we're going to increment, right? We're going to do the increments here, and also we're going to declare the initial value first. Now the while loop works in such a way that if the condition does not hold, then the loops does not work. It doesn't enter into the loop. Similarly with the for loop, right? We check the condition before we start executing. So I'll just do something like integer k is equals to 0. Then while k is less than 10, while k is less than 10, then you should print %d then k, right? And then now I'll just do k plus plus, right? Return 0. So I have now I don't want that up to print again, so I'll just put all of that above in comment section. So basically it should run and just print the value of k. Okay, so it prints like that. So if I want, I didn't put a backslash n, so I'm just going to put backslash n. So it prints all the values of k, right? So let me say value of k, right? And compile and run again. Yep. So that is that with the while loop. Then now I'm going to do the next loop, which is the do while loop, right? So similarly, I'm going to put that in comment section. And the do while loop, the syntax is like this. You have do something first. Now this is the only loop that tries to do something before it checks the condition. So the do while loop will execute at least one time before checking the condition. So that's the difference between the do while loop and the other loops, right? So I'm going to do like integer n is equals to 5. Then I'm going to do print value of n %d backslash n, right? Then now I'm going to do n plus plus while now n is less than or equals to 5. So less than or equals to 5 means that it will run one time and then the condition will fail, right? So it should be able to run the value of n is %d and then the program fails. The value of n, okay, so comma n, so I have to put n there. Yes, So the value of n is 5, and then it fails, right? But now if I had something bigger, like less than or equals to 15, then it will run up till when it gets to less than or equals to 15. That is when it's going to stop running, right? So basically this is how we use the for loop, the while loop, and the do while loop. So now in what you're going to do as assignment, right, or exercise, right, you're going to use a loop, right? So you use let me just specify a while loop to calculate the sum of all numbers from 1 to 100. That's the first task. Then you're going to use a for loop. So here we're going to use a for loop to find the sum of all even numbers between 1 and 20. Right. So I'm going to leave you with this exercise. Go through what we have done on loops, and then you try to do these exercises, right? And then get back to me if there is any part of the tutorial that you don't understand. Then you get back to me, and so you can drop your codes in the comment section. So if you find this video interesting, like I've always said, you like, you comment, you share. Now don't forget to subscribe, such that each time that we release a video, you're going to be notified.